Hey everyone, I'm Tsunani. Welcome to my new video. In this video, I'm filling a sketchbook spread with you together. I'm using these acrylic markers by Arrtx. You know I really love them, and Arrtx recently sent me this set of 90 markers, so thank you so much to Arrtx. I'm really happy that I probably won't run out of acrylic markers anytime soon. There wasn't really a plan for this double page at the beginning. I just felt like painting without thinking too much. Little by little, these funny creatures started to appear on the paper in a forest-like environment. For sketching, I used my Colorase pencil from Prismacolor. I also wanted to include some text again, and a speech bubble felt like the perfect choice, since the characters in the image are interacting with each other. By the way, the sketchbook I'm using is the Strathmore Mixed Media sketchbook. It has cotton paper, which sometimes isn't ideal for acrylic markers because it's very soft. A very soft surface. But with the brush tips of these markers, that's not a problem at all. They don't damage the paper surface in any way, which is something I really like about them. The only thing is that this paper absorbs a lot of paint, so I do have some concerns that the markers might run out faster if you use them only on this kind of paper, on these cotton papers. But I don't actually know that for sure. I usually just use whatever medium I feel like using in my sketchbook, and they paint beautifully on this paper, so I can just ignore those concerns. I'd like to say a few words about the markers themselves. You've probably seen me use them many times already. I really like them a lot. I first had the 60 marker anime color set and I absolutely loved it. Then I tried the Arrtx liquid ink markers, which also have a brush tip, but you have to shake them. This is the difference. And the ink feels a tiny bit more fluid. Honestly, I like both marker versions. Both have this wonderful brush tip. And now I'm testing this 90-piece set. And as usual, all of the markers work wonderfully and I really enjoy using them. I actually kept the 60 marker anime color set in my window for over a year to test the light fastness. And they performed really well. I was positively surprised. That made me like them even more. I know YouTube is currently full of videos where creators use these Arrtx markers, and there's a simple reason for that. We really like them. We genuinely do. It's a really good product that I can honestly recommend. I'm always open and transparent about my opinion on the products I use or test, you know. If I really think about it, if I have to pick something, there's only one small point of criticism. And this doesn't only apply to this 90-piece set, also to the other ones, considering the number of markers, in this case 90 pieces, there are too few truly dark tones. There are a lot of very light pastel colors, which I really like. You need them a lot, and many mid-tone colors, a lot of mid-tone colors, and also enough variations per color. For example, lots of beautiful greens and pinks here and violets, and a few blues, and you have a lot of yellows and also oranges. That part feels very balanced for me, for my taste of colors. But when it comes to really dark tones, I only find about 5 in this set. This black a very dark blue, another dark violet-y bluish color, and some grayish green. And if you squint a little, maybe another dark violet. I would have loved to see something like a dark wine red or a dark brown, like an umber or something like this. That if you use any color, you find the right dark tone for it. I often find it difficult to achieve enough contrast in an image if I only use these markers. I usually solve that by working on top with colored pencils or other medias, which works really well on top of it, especially the colored pencils. The paint dries matte and it feels more like a gouache than acrylic. But all in all, these markers are simply great and I really enjoy using them, especially for mixed media work, quick sketches, or like in this case, just painting in my sketchbook in an uncomplicated way, just to enjoy myself and art. Now onto the image itself. I start with the first layer of color. I work quite loosely in some areas. For example, in the lower part of the tree creature, there where a lot of fern grows in front of it or should grow later. Since the paint is opaque, I can just paint over things and don't have to carefully fill in all the tiny gaps where yellow from the background would otherwise show through. I do the same with the fern. I work more broadly with the light green and then layer other greens on top. That way it doesn't look patchy and it fits better into my workflow. I usually work from light to dark so I can still see my sketch underneath. But it wouldn't be a problem to start with dark colors since the paint is opaque and you can always paint light over dark. Acrylic is such a nice medium because you don't have to think so much. Especially with markers, you can cover a lot of the area in a short time. That's the beauty of the brush tips. You can paint thick strokes to fill areas, but you can also use the fine tip for details, which you will see later. For me, this is perfect for switching off my brain and just having fun in my sketchbook, and I don't have to think too much. Especially right now, when the world feels so crazy and terrible things are happening, it's really nice to just disappear into my sketchbook for a while. Afterwards, I feel more rested and able to keep going, not letting myself get paralyzed but staying active. I really need this cozy painting breaks, also in between my everyday life with my sweet children, adult responsibilities and disturbing news. Art truly helps me so much, and this sketchbook routine, I can only recommend it. Unfortunately, I'm not doing so well with my sketchbook routine at the moment. I'm often so tired and can't really motivate myself to paint daily, which is a shame because I feel inside that I would like to or even need to. But when I sit in front of the paper, I often don't know how to start. Every now and then I have these bright moments where I fill a sketchbook spread, like in this video, or draw something small and sketch out my ideas. And then, unfortunately, a bit too rarely, I have that one idea that truly inspires me and sparks so much joy deep inside of me, where I dive into enthusiastically and completely lose myself in the project. Like in my video with the folded bird thing with gouache, perhaps you remember. That was a really wonderful project and the creative energy from it is still lingering. I just have to be careful not to think that I always have to do something like that I always need ideas like that. That's simply not possible. I'm not a machine idea sketches and phases like the one I'm in right now, where it's harder to find new creative ideas, are part of the process. I know this. And that's also something I'd really like to pass on to you on your creative journey. Don't be too hard on yourselves, be kind to yourselves. Don't give up immediately when you feel like your work isn't turning out the way you want it. Keep trying. Focus on something else. Not what to paint, but how to paint. If you usually work realistically, try painting colorful shapes on paper or canvas instead. Enjoy the process, the colors, the movements, without thinking about whether it become a perfect artwork in the end. It's so important to give yourself that space without judgment. It's easy for me to say this because I've experienced so many times what happens when you let go, but I also know how hard it can be, and right now I'm struggling myself to be more relaxed with my own expectations, because every time I allow myself to just let things flow, give up a bit of control, and freely enjoy color on paper, that creative block usually dissolves quite quickly. Even with this image, I couldn't fully let go of control, especially at the beginning, but little by little I started to really enjoy playing with the colors. I told myself that if it didn't turn into something, I just wouldn't upload it on YouTube, but in the end it actually turned out quite well. I'm happy with it. I did struggle a bit with the contrast, especially towards the end, but while I was struggling, new ideas came to my mind about how I could use acrylic markers in a different way in my art and how to create more depth. And honestly, that sparked something in me again. I'm really excited to try these ideas out. I want to try to paint the first layer in watercolor, to remove the white of the paper and create some base depth into this, and then paint my characters on top with acrylic markers. It's a simple idea that I've honestly thought about many times before, but never really done this directly. I don't know why. Maybe because we often stick to what we know and what works for us. Maybe that's my way out of this art block. I didn't really call it a full art block in this video because it's more a kind of tiredness and lack of new ideas. What I mean is that I want to experiment more with mixed media again, to explore what's possible, maybe even clear out the dresser where I store all my art supplies in, test things again, and try to include supplies that I almost never use or which I forgot. I have so much that I sometimes lose track of it all. Maybe it's also a good idea, especially since it's the beginning of the year, to declutter supplies and let go of the ones I never use because they simply don't bring me joy. And there are some of those things I bought because I saw so many creators using them and loving them, and I thought I should try them as well, and then it just wasn't for me because I have a very different flow or style. I've actually been thinking a lot about doing some kind of art challenge again, one where you draw or paint daily over a certain period of time, but without predefined themes or prompts like the monthly prompt lists you see everywhere on Instagram, or things like Inktober. Something similar to the 100-day challenge I did in the past. This means drawing 100 days in a row every day. That was really good, but also exhausting. I took it very seriously back then. I think I made 2 or 3 videos about it. I I don't know exactly, including a sketchbook tour of the 100 days. I can link those for you if you are interested. I would approach it differently today. Less pressure, being okay with just a sketch sometimes. Back then I painted 100 small finished pieces, which was great, but right now it's less about the number of finished images or paintings and more about my development. Trying things out, loose sketches, color experiments, spending a few creative minutes each day without needing a finished piece in the end. I think that's what these challenges are really about and where the most growth happens. If you have had good experiences with any challenges that really helped you, please share them in the comments. I would love to read about your experiences and your challenge recommendations. Thank you so much in advance. So my image is already quite far along now. I added this pastel lilac background because everything felt a bit empty before and it makes the whole piece more interesting. I told you earlier that I struggled with contrast here, so I worked on the background again later and that really improved things. But first, as always, I grabbed my colored pencils and worked on adding more contrast and details. I think that worked out quite well. This time my image turned out really cartoony and that makes me happy. It feels positive and light. I really like the finished spread. I hope you like it too and that you had a good time with this video. Please don't forget to leave a like, hype, and if you want to, feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's free and it's a wonderful way to support me. Thank you so much. A special thank you to my wonderful patrons. You are amazing. Then have a good time, my friends. We will see each other again next week in another video. Take care. Yours Tsunami.